tell me about these mines. The guy told me about these mines the other day, and I'm trying to think, what does it do? Does it hit the water and then it sinks down about 60 feet? Or
Well,
what?
from what I understand, what happened to us.
Sit back, sir.
No, what I understand happened to us. We come in and you go down, and they skip out of the aircraft like they're like on a plane of the water, and then they drop in and explode. But you're after laying a mine. If there's ships in the bay there, one of these mines that you're supposed to try to, they were designated to hit those ships in the center or something and then explode. But they would come out like a skip and then boom, because you would start laying them just before you hit the. You wouldn't lay them when you were over top of the ship. You'd hit it before. You'd start letting them go before, because they would run along a little bit and then drop.
What do you think of this this Bomber Command Memorial that they're building?
I think it's great. I spent some time in London before I came home after I did instructing, and I think it's just great. I know the area where they're building it. I think it's been a long time coming, but it's a great thing that's happening. And I think, unfortunately, the people that didn't come back, it's a tribute to them. I had 2 or 3 good friends from my hometown that didn't come back, and other places, other people I knew and didn't come back. So it's a tribute to them. People say, "How'd you get?" I said, "I guess it was lucky. I came back, finished my tour, went to instruct, and then came home." So I consider myself very fortunate.
On the last mission, did you know it was your last mission before you left?
Yeah, we.
So tell me how you guys felt as you were sitting there and you just thought you just got one more to go.
Well, build up to that. In our squadron, our 576 squadron, RAF, we went out and kept going, and our skipper said, "Do you fellas want any holidays or skip?" We said, "No, let's just keep going." Normally they would make you take a week or so off after so many trips, but we didn't do that. We came to the 26th trip, and we came back that night, and we were all called in, and they said, "You're grounded for a week. You can't fly anymore. You haven't had because statistics said casualties happened 1 to 5, 25 to 30. So they made us stay down for over a week. We said, "Come on, we want to get going. We've got 5 more trips to do and get the hell home. Let's go." So finally they put us back, and we had 2 out of those 5 were Gdynia Bay and Stettin Bay, and that was a hell of a long trip. So then the last couple trips were just over into France and back, and when we took off, we said, "God, this is our last one. We better come back." And we had a what they call a second pilot, a pilot who's just doing his first operation. They take him out. You take a pilot out with to show him what's happening. And we had a pilot, and we were bombing a place called Eindhoven in the Netherlands. There are bomb site targets, and that was our last one there. As soon as we bombed, we just headed home and said, "Hooray!" But I'll tell you one thing: we had a medical officer in our station who had just as many trips in as most of the bombing people. But what happened, you'd be out in disbursement area ready to take off, and somehow or other he'd pick a crew, and he'd go on the trip with them. We were in the aircraft one night, and I wondered, who's, because I'm in the mid-upper, who's crawling around? The medical officer was in our aircraft, and he flew a trip with us. And then when he came back, he went right back. Nobody hardly knew except him and the people at the station that he was going, but that's what he did. And then when he got posted from that station, everybody cried, and they brought him back about a month later to the station again, because he knew what the people were. You couldn't fool him if you said, "Oh, I can't fly tonight, I don't feel well." You walked in the door and he just looked at you and he said, "You're going." But if you tried to hide he would say, "You're not going tonight." And I've seen him set individuals down saying they wanted to go, and he just said, "No, you're not going out tonight." And because he knew from experience being in the aircraft, and he did that a number of times.
So there's physical problems, obviously. If you were sick, you had the flu, but also there might be some psychological problems. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, One night we come back and you heard the other fellow talk about flak. Well, flak comes up and it explodes. We were hit by flak twice. Once, one piece of flak came up between myself and the navigator who was sitting in there and right through the aircraft. And another flak hit my rear gunner and he got a piece of flak in his elbow. But and the one that came up through by the navigator and myself, the hydraulics were shot off, so we had to do everything by hand after that. But it's you see the flak, and you don't. Then you hear big loud booms. But I've seen many aircraft hit directly, knock an engine out or knock a couple engine outs, and they would go off. And you'd start to look to see if you could see any parachutes, and you'd see some. But one of the crews that we flew with was another American pilot. He got shot down over Germany. All his crew bailed out. They never found him or the Lancaster. He never found him. His crew, who were from our Cook squadron, they worked their way back through the underground and all came back to England 3 weeks after they were bailed out. But they never did find the pilot or the Lancaster. And but I saw their aircraft go down, Lancashire Halleys go down, because if you were in flak and it hit you, it's just unfortunate if it hit the right thing. You didn't have you couldn't control it.